Hey, I'm Natalie Abbott.
And I'm Vera Schmitz. We are sisters who host the Dwell Differently podcast.
We help you memorize and meditate on one Bible verse every month. And all month long on our podcast, we talk about what that verse means, why it matters, and how we can apply that verse to our daily lives. Hey, y'all, welcome back. It's Natalie Abbott. I'm here with my sister, Vera.
What's up?
I feel like that was a long pause there. Are you here?
It always is. I'm here.
You're here. Guys, today we're talking about Psalm 121:8. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore.
I feel like this should be at the end of every commencement speech.
As a benediction. You'll go kind of situation?
As a benediction to all the graduates.
Oh, it is, May. It's like graduation month for a lot of people.
There you go.
Also June. But I also think about this verse when I think about like travel, honestly. Mm-hmm. There's a lot here about travel since it is the Song of Ascent, which is, if you've been listening to the other episodes, this is the song that God would sing. This is not the song that God would sing. This is the song God's people would sing. One of 15 songs that they would sing on their way to worship him in the temple. So it's a travel song.
The travel song I always sang was, we're going to Dita's house. We're going to Dita's house.
We got to get there. We got to get there. Yep. Faster than a mouse.
Mm-hmm. So I actually, a little tidbit of truth about this month's design. I actually just drew this for myself. So last summer, one of my friends she's on the worship team at her church, and she was reading Psalm 121 out loud to the whole congregation. I was like, why don't I have that memorized? Mm-hmm. What am I doing? That last verse 8, that's amazing. And so I came home and I just kept reading it and studying it and looking over it. I'm like, I'm obsessed with that last verse. The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore. And so I decided, I was like, I'm definitely going to paint that. I'm going to make that a painting in my house. Like I need a painting right beside our door that we can remember as we're walking out of the house. The Lord watches over me every time I come and I go. And so I mocked it up in my journal. And that is the actual design that we are enjoying this month. It's like got stairs in it and like little pathways. But I really made it for myself. That's why it's kind of, if you don't like this month's design, it's really bold. It's not very, some people don't like bold things or real modern or graphic things, but I do. It's what I prefer. So I really made this for me, and you're the secondary beneficiaries.
I love it. I think it's gorgeous. And I also think it's like, I do think it's very much you, obviously.
It is me.
But I love the little pathways in it, and that it just feels like coming and going. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me of that, and how, this verse actually isn't just about those kinds of paths, like our actual feet on the paths. It is, but it's also about our lives as a whole. Like God watches over our lives, our coming and going, both now and forevermore, like both right this minute and into the future. And so my question for you, Vera, it's a question that we have in our Bible study. It's a question that we sent out with our group card for people who are members. And it's this: do you believe God watches over you? Or do you tend to rely on yourself to take care of you? So this is kind of one of those like scale questions, like, yes, I do believe this, but also in these areas or at these times, no.
Mm-hmm. So mine, if I were to answer this question, it would be, there are two different scales going, and one is for big stuff. And if that scale is 1 to 5, 1 being I don't trust God, 5 being I do trust God, on big things, I'm a 5. I'm like all in. I'm like, well, and I think it's because I recognize my inability. I've talked about this before a little bit. It's like I recognize my inability to be in control of this thing. So I'm a 5. I'm like all the way in. I'm like, the only way to do this is to trust God. I trust he's going to watch over and protect me and care for me in this situation. The little things, as the things get smaller, it slides down towards the 1, to where it's like, do I trust him, and do I believe that he's going to watch over my coming and going literally in this day to do the things I need to do? And the answer is no, I don't trust him. I trust me. I'm a 5. On that scale, I'm the 5. I trust me for those things. So it's just interesting. I'm like, man, I want that. And I get better at it as I think, it ebbs and flows. The seasons ebb and flow. But I would say right now, I've had this gift, not today. I had terrible sleep last night, but my kids have been sleeping better, which means I've had more opportunity for long periods of time in the Word and in prayer in the morning. And that has proven to give me more connectedness throughout the day. It's like I'm far more reliant on Him because my mind is already with Him first thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Nat?
There's a big difference for me when I spend prolonged time in the Word versus when I don't, especially in the morning. It's like a totally different way to start my day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gosh, I want so desperately for this to be my response in every situation, to be like, the Lord is watching over me. It's funny though, because I am an avoider of negative things, hard things, things that other people maybe would tend to control. I tend to just, sweep it under the rug. So my rug is like a mountain. There's a massive pile of things under it always. So it's easy for me to trick myself into believing that somehow I'm trusting God with those things.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. I'm avoiding them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's harder, I think, for me to even pinpoint what it is that I'm not trusting God with, because I'm so accustomed to not dealing with whatever the thing is, that I have to actually sit down and force myself to be like, okay, what are the undercurrents? What is hiding under everything that I need to address? What is causing this tension that I feel, or the stress that I have, or whatever? And ultimately, no. I can't even give you my scale because I am
about you.
fully unaware of what it is. So anybody else who's out there who's listening to this is like, wow, I love that Vera has a quick answer. There are other people who are wired like me who are like legit don't know the answer.
Oh man, I'm always aware. Hyper aware.
Yeah. We could come together and make a fully functional, normal human.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I actually have to put things under the rug. That's actually a skill that I use from counseling. I don't put it under the rug, but because I'm hyper focused on the things that are causing me stress or worry, I literally visualize this box that only Jesus holds, that I take the thing that is working on me, and I just watch myself put it in the box. And I'm like, I'm going to think about that later when I have time to pray, or I have time to read, or I have time to call a friend. And I'm going to close the lid, and I'm going to trust that God is holding that, and I'm not going to think about it right now. So I actually have to practice putting things away. You need to open the box.
Yeah, that's
What's
my
in
practice.
the box?
It's like, Lord, what is in the box? Could you please, that is actually a very regular prayer for me in my journal. In fact, just recently I wrote a post where a lot of people are responding. They're like, why did you use the word rebuke? And it was basically, Lord, would you rebuke me? Or would you reveal to me what it is that I need to be aware of? And for me in that moment, it was fear. I was fearing the future. I was fearing what other people thought about me, things like that. But it wasn't something that I was fully aware of. In fact, I would say it was something that I was fully unaware of until I prayed that prayer. So for some of us, for us to even consider what we are not believing God for, what we are not trusting Him to watch over, is a process of actually, asking Him to sort of pull back the curtain or open the box or, look under the rug.
Gosh, I can't believe we're so opposite. That is so funny.
I know. I have a sweet deal for you, my podcast listener friend. If you use the code podcast and go to the Dwell Differently website, you can get your first month free of a Dwell Differently Complete membership or our Bible study membership. The Bible study membership includes lock screens for your phone and your Apple Watch and your computer and all the things, and coloring sheets. It also includes our digital Bible study, which is beautiful. It has all of the prompts and the devotions and the questions and the context. It's going to help you memorize a bigger passage. All of that is in the digital Bible study. But if you want, you can also get the Dwell Differently Complete membership. And that includes all of those things, plus a physical kit sent to you in the mail every month with stickers and tattoos and a key tag and a beautiful print that you could put up in your house. All the tangible products to help you memorize and meditate on the verse. Guys, We are here for you with all these things. Use the code podcast and go to dwelldifferently.com and get your first month free.
Oh my gosh.
So I want to just read this because we were looking at this card that we send out, talking through some of these questions and what we wanted to discuss. I just read this, and I know I wrote this like a couple of months ago before this got printed, but I really like. Is it
really you're speaking to yourself?
I feel like it's just an interesting.
Did past self write this for future self, Nat?
I think it did. My past self did. So I'm just like a very forgetful human. So I can read something and I'm like, did Vera write that or did I write that? I think I did.
Did I write this?
Maybe.
We'll find out. I'll remember.
You can tell me.
Okay.
In your here and there, he is there. In your running and your repose, in your next and your right now, in the bright day and through the night, on the mountain and through the valley, you can rest because he does not. The Lord watches over you. Did you write
beautiful,
that?
And I definitely would never use the word repose, so it was you.
Hilarious. This is how really little I know myself. But I just love that sentiment. And I think that is the sentiment of the entirety of Psalm 121. It's just like in your coming and going, it talks about how the Lord doesn't sleep or slumber. It talks about how he doesn't let your foot slip. It talks about, when I look up to the mountains, my help is in the Lord. Like just this idea of the constancy of God and all of that in the whole journey, so to speak, of our lives, that God is always there in our now and in our forevermore. Like that, all of it, all the things that right now plague you, all the things maybe that are hiding under your rug or maybe that you're more than fully aware of, like all of that is fully in his hands. Your now and all of your future, all of your real and actual future that will actually happen, and all of the things that your mind spins on, all of those potential possibilities, all of those things that maybe give you a little bit of anxiety, all of it is in his more than capable hands. And I love that about our verse. It's the coming and the going. It's the right now and the forever. It is, it's just this all-encompassing idea of God's watchful, beautiful care of the entirety of our lives. And like, what if we really believe that? That's a question I keep asking myself, is like, what if I really, really did believe that instead of hiding from those things or maybe relying on myself and my own control over those things? But if I practically did that.
Yeah. It makes me, it just, for those of you who have kiddos or you have, little siblings or whoever, nieces, nephews, it's like when you are watching over someone smaller than you, it's like you are really watching, or you should be. Now my third child is getting watched a lot less. But, it's like that first child, your very first. It's like you are so watchful over everything that they're doing. And just think about... I can
remember like being so offended at playground and that they would have like a platform where there was like a pole that came out and it was like 4 feet off the ground. I'm like, my child will literally just run off of that. Like a 2-year-old would not even grab the pole. They would just like sail off of there. And it's like, that's a picture though of the Lord is our parent who is holding his hand in the gap for us, saying, hey, this isn't a good place for you. You're going to break your arm. Like he doesn't watch over us in a kind of, mad or broody or angry kind of way. It's not like he's watching out for us to mess up and punish us, but he's the one that's trying to keep us harm from messing up. Verse, I think 5 says something, the Lord will keep us from all harm, keep you from all harm. But anyway, you were going to say, Vera, I interrupted you.
No, it's just like, how much more does he care for me? If he
then
watches,
you could care for your own kids.
Yeah, for my own child. And I always think about, the do not worry. Look at the birds of the air. Look at the flowers in the way that they don't have to do anything. And the Lord keeps those things. I think about that all the time. Like, he loves me so much. And I'm reading this small little book about Psalm 23 and about the Lord as my shepherd, and how, like, when God, created everything, it's like he loved us in that first moment of creation, right? To desire to have this relationship with us. And then he loved us again by fixing all the mess we made by sending Christ to come and to live perfectly and to die. It's like, of course he's going to watch over our coming and going. He already did so much. This is like just a part of the plan. This is like, of course he is. And so just believing that, but we are just so quick to forget. We are so quick to rely on ourselves. I mean, I literally just read that last night. I was reading about this, Psalm 23, before bed. Of course, this morning I wake up and I'm trying to do it all myself again, Right. We're so forgetful. We just are.
Well, and I love that you bring up Psalm 23, because that idea of God as our shepherd is the same idea. So the Hebrew word shamar, which is the word for keep or watch, and it's 6 different times in these 8 little verses. So that's definitely like the thematic here in Psalm 121, is that God watches us. But I was reading about it in Strong's Concordance, and it talks about how this is such a familiar concept. Like, it's like almost 500 times in the Old Testament this word is used. And it's that same idea that a shepherd would watch over their sheep. And it's that same, there's so much about me that wishes like I knew the original languages. I have to look them up. But every time I do, or I see this word repeated or whatever, and this is something that you guys can do. I do this on BibleHub.com. But you can look up I can't read Hebrew, but you can look it up and it'll have the transliteration of that word into English, and you can see what the definition is. And it just gives you so much more insight anytime you're studying the Bible, especially when you see a word repeated. It's like, I'm just going to look that up and see what the Bible dictionary is going to tell me about what's going on there. And that was one thing that was just like so highlighted for me, is this idea of God as being watchful and caring over us like a shepherd cares for his sheep. And conversely, that word is used all the time for the idea of keeping God's law or watching carefully his law. So we are to shamar God, and as he shamars us, we are to keep his law and his ways as he keeps watch over us. And those things are what keep us, right? And protected, like that idea of protection or a fence or being kept.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that like 10 minutes ago about how does he watch over us? Well, he gave us the law. He gave us the scripture. He gave us the word so that we would know what is good. Because you were like, he wants what's good for us. He doesn't want to bring any harm. It's like, well, you do that by knowing the Bible and you know the path. You can know the path. You can know the way because it's laid out for you. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, one last question for you, Vera, and it comes back to this idea of God watching over us and us entrusting our lives to him. Sometimes I think the harder thing is, and we kind of barely touched on this, but this is a question I want to ask you. Like, how good are you at entrusting your people to the Lord? Because sometimes I don't think about or worry about myself as much, but I for sure I've always got, especially my list. Kids and somebody who's going through something hard at church or a physical situation or whatever, somebody had a loved one pass away, like all of that. Like, how are you doing at that? How do we do that well?
It's so funny because it's the exact same answer as my other question. It's like the relationships or the struggles or the harm that has come on folks in their lives, like really hard situations. Those are the ones where I really do throw up my hands and say, God, I have to trust that you are good, even though, and even in this hard thing, I'm very quick to just relinquish that control and trust him and pray that, Lord, would you just use all of this that looks hard and impossible for your glory and for this person, because I don't know what else to do. But the people who are close to me that I'm in contact with every day, my children, it's like, no, I will watch over them. I will make sure. I will be sure, Yeah. So I think, again, it's just a practice of like, and sometimes I'm like, man, I come to the end of myself specifically with parenting where I'm like, I really just have to trust the Lord in this because it is so easy to take up control over small children and feel like you are the one that is holding it all together when we aren't.
I have the opposite feeling with large children of I have no control. It feels very out of control. I'm like, I want to be able to control you and I cannot. So yeah, if there's anybody in the world who's going to make sure that you know that you are out of control, it's going to be like a teenager. They're going to make sure that now the problem is they believe that they are the ones who are in control. But it definitely is that has been a real help in my belief and my trust in God's watchful care of the humans that I care the most about. Because there is a sense in which as you see them aging and appropriately even moving into a self-autonomy, it is like, wow, this feels very wrong.
And that's the way it should have been all along. I mean, you need to care for your kids and give them boundaries and all of that. But ultimately, if you can...
The veil is pulled back. Yeah. It's like, actually, you don't have any control. You never did.
You never did.
You believed that you did for a while, but no, you don't. You don't. So good. Well, I'm hoping as you guys are listening to this, as you're thinking about this verse and just meditating on it, that you would internalize, like, where are the things where I am needing to ask the Lord to either reveal what I need to see that I am not trusting him with, or where I need to relinquish that control, whatever it is. That I just pray that this verse wouldn't just be something that you know, like the words to, but that you would like deeply know it in your heart, that the Lord is the one who watches over your coming and going both now and forevermore.
Amen.
Well, thanks for joining me today, Vera.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see you back here again next month.
Next month it is.
Okay, I'm tempted to use my guilty mom voice to make you do this, but I'm not. I'm not gonna strong arm you. But if you love this podcast, would you leave us a review? We would love to hear from you. Even if you just say, this is my rating, that's fine too. But we would love to hear from you. I actually go personally and read those reviews sometimes. And it's such an encouragement to my heart to know that, like, hey, there are actually people who listen to this and are getting something out of it. So would you leave us a review? I would totally appreciate it. And it helps other people find our show. Thanks so much.